Hello YouTube. Being that this is my first video, I thought that I would begin by providing a positive and motivational commentary on an issue that is becoming more and more problematic in today's fast-paced society. My aim is to take that message and release it into the online ether that is the internet. My hope is that it will benefit at least one person. In the last 8 years, how often have you heard this?
An economic apocalypse.
Europe's debt crisis.
Are we in a recession?
Serious recession.
Recession is coming back.
It's no secret. We wake up in the morning and it's the first thing that the news tells us. No goodwill stories, prospect of a positive outlook, or news regarding the works of those who endeavor to make our world a better place. Those stories don't sell as well, and the reports on them are few and far between. We start our days with doom and gloom, head to work when we count the minutes until the day is done, return home and watch TV. And guess what we see?
An economic apocalypse.
Europe's debt crisis.
Are we in a recession?
Serious recession.
Recession is coming back.
Unfortunately, that's not all. Today's youth are finding themselves in a world far from the one they thought they would be inheriting, with issues like unemployment, teen suicides, bullying, gang violence, and a total lack of empathy from politicians who have made it clear that young people are not a priority, along with those who believe that these feelings of frustration are little more than feelings of entitlement, have made it impossible for young people to thrive. Simply speaking, they have been left out in the cold. Kids frustrated by a world they did not ask for, adults trying to carry the heavy burden of providing hope and a future for those kids, while at the same time having to pay for the ridiculous wars our governments have decided to invest in on our behalf, without having the foresight to see what implications that might have on generations to come. One cannot help but ask the question, where have all the leaders gone? That brings us to our topic, depression. Those of us who have experienced it know that no written or verbal definition can even come remotely close to actually describing the feelings. Depression destroys from within and paints the world black, removing any colors that most people enjoy. Before we begin, I want you to watch a brief clip of something that made headlines all over Canada. Her name was Amanda Todd. She was a bullied teen who, after making an online plea, took her own life, completely shocking and saddening a nation. She too suffered from depression. The reason I reference this is because the darkness which depression thrives in is spreading to many others of her age. I am pleased that looking at statistics, Canada and the United States fare better than many European and Asian countries in regards to teen suicides and overall suicides, but I am not concerned with the numbers in North America as I am with the reason. One child gone is one child too many. Suicidal thoughts and depression walk hand in hand, and quite often are enough to bring someone to the decision that there are no decisions left to make. They feel that there just aren't any options left. But I want to discuss some options that are available. Number 1 is therapy. This is the most common method of dealing with depression. The real value of therapy comes from the fact that one human being sits and listens to the other's story and can reinforce any area of the person's damaged psyche, which may in turn provide or at least stabilize the person's emotional state. One added benefit is that therapists are trained to seek those areas and determine the best means of aiding said individuals, which is something family and friends may not be able to do. Remember, human beings are designed to empathize with one another. It is part of our natural defense system against loneliness and anxiety. The second is antidepressants, normally hand in hand with therapy. This method is not something that I would recommend, or at least I have a bias against. The success rate leaves much room for variability, and there is a chance that these drugs may chemically alter who you are at the core of your being, essentially fixing the problem by building a new person. I am not a trained doctor, but I have spoken with many psychiatrists and doctors who have made that very clear. There is always a risk. The next method is meditation. This is the method I have used and personally favor. It requires finding someone who is trained in these techniques and can show you how to use breathing in order to not only treat but cure depression. How this works is not clearly understood. However, it has been proven through multiple types of brain imaging scans that the brain undergoes physiological changes, correcting for hormonal imbalances. Western science tends to solve the problem by injecting hormones in the hopes that the brain will cope, whereas Eastern philosophy believes in changing the brain so that it can correct the problem itself. Lastly, for those who have reached the decision to end their lives, suicide hotlines are the first defense method. Therapy is costly and not everyone can afford it. The United States and Canada have a hotline designed to help those who have nowhere else to turn. I will post a link in the description. The numbers are toll-free, and the people there legitimately want to help. It is always important to know your options, and while most of you probably know them, I want to reiterate the importance and make sure that you know that they are available. Now I want to provide some of my own insight into the times that which we live. This is not the first time that the R word has been used, nor will it be the last. Take the time to remember that the economy also obeys the laws of gravity. What goes up must come down. But this is not the end. When the ball lands on the ground, we have the opportunity to pick it up and throw it back in the air, even higher than before. The economy is picking up. The 2008-9 market crash saw the worst of it, and even though recovery is slow, we are already well past the halfway point. The US to date has survived 47 recessions in known history, yet we are still here. We can weather even the toughest of storms. All that is required is faith in ourselves and that the universe has some sort of way of making things work out anyways. Although I do keep a vigil on economic forecasts and news, I will leave it to later videos as I am only trying to illustrate a point. Things are never as bad as the media portrays them. My advice would be to stop reading the news and focus on your own well-being and the well-beings of those you care about. Enough is enough. Bad news keeps people in fear, and it has them continuously looking back for more news to see if the situation has improved. All the while, the only thing improved are the network ratings. Times are difficult, jobs have disappeared, and frustration is quickly taking hold of everyone in its path. Some people choose to bear these burdens alone, others seek comfort in the arms of those who can sympathize. However you choose to handle it, remember that there are millions like yourselves who are currently experiencing difficulties and are depressed. None of us choose to be depressed, but we have to choose how to deal with it. There is no wrong path to take. The only mistake we can make is if we stand still and do nothing. Those who are not depressed and are better able to bear the storm need to be there for those who cannot. It is up to us to place color again in their black and white world and help them alter their views on existence. We must make sure that individuals, especially young individuals like Amanda Todd, are not forgotten, and that the lessons they have provided us with while making the ultimate sacrifice were not in vain. Everything will work out. The economy can improve, and it will improve. Depression can be beat, and it will be beat. Whatever happens, let's make sure it happens for all of us and together. Thank you for watching.